What if the reason your changes aren't sticking is that you've been announcing solutions to problems your team doesn't know exist? Let me tell you a story. Imagine you run a business that takes special orders for customers, items that come in and get set aside for pickup. There's a whole process for handling those orders, and at some point, you add a step. Write the customer's last name at the top of the slip, where it will be visible when the order is sitting on the shelf. Simple enough. But the person who handles most of the order paperwork just doesn't really do it. Not out of laziness, not because she doesn't care. She does the paperwork, so she always knows which order belongs to which customer. From where she's standing, that extra step is just one more thing to remember for no apparent reason. What she doesn't know, because nobody told her, is that her coworkers are spending extra time every time a customer comes to pick up an order, pulling items off the shelf one by one, trying to find the right name buried somewhere in the form. The goal of making that process easy for everyone who might ever help a customer wasn't part of the conversation when the new step was introduced. The fact that the current situation was creating a real problem for other people, that was never said out loud. So she sees an extra step with no apparent purpose, and it doesn't stick. This is what happens when we lead with the solution instead of the problem. Your team gets handed a change to execute without the context that would make them actually care whether it works. And without that context, the change is just friction. One more thing to remember. One more thing to do. Here's the shift I want you to try this week. Pick one change in your business that isn't sticking. Before you bring it up again, before you remind anyone, before you retrain anyone, ask yourself two questions. What problem was this change meant to solve? And what does success actually look like once it's working? Once you're clear on that, bring it to your team. Not the change, not the solution, just the problem. Open a conversation. Ask them what they think should happen when this situation comes up. Let them arrive at the problem and the value of solving it themselves. In the special order example, that conversation might sound something like, when a customer comes to pick up their order and you're the one helping them, what does that experience look like for you? Let the people who've been hunting through the shelf tell you it's a hassle. Let them say they wish there were an easier way. And once the problem has been named out loud by the people living with it, everyone in the room, including the person who never realized there was a problem, understands why a solution matters. The extra step stops being arbitrary. It becomes the answer to something the whole team now agrees needs solving. That's a completely different conversation than, here's the new step, please remember to do it. Your team isn't unmotivated. They just don't know there was a problem to solve in the first place. They were handed a solution without the problem. And it's very hard to care about a solution to a problem you didn't know existed. And you can change that. And it starts with one conversation. But it doesn't end there. If you want to hear more about that, watch this video next.